You should call it Full Frontal with Jason Rife. Also, we're live. Good evening.
Yeah. It's a good way to open up live.
Welcome to another episode of the Laser Source Podcast. No, Laser Everything is not becoming a full-time talk show. If you've been wondering why you've been seeing so many podcast episodes lately, it's because our favorite sponsor in the world, Coca-Cola, has their gun directly to my head, and they said, you need to start publishing more podcasts, bro. And I was like, I'm working on it. No, I'm just kidding. We are severely behind in publishing podcast episodes, though. We have so many edited. It's at least 10, right? At least 10 episodes. So I sat down. I spent all day on Sunday. Was that Sunday? I just did them all. Like, I got them all prepared. I made all of their thumbnails. I scheduled them all, and they're just one day after the next. So if you're wondering why there's so many podcasts coming out, it's because
I yelled at him.
Matt yelled at me. So anyway, that's why there are so many coming out back to back. Once we're caught up, what I really want is, like, we're recording this episode with Jason Rife. What's up, Jason?
What's going on, everybody?
Once this is recorded, I want this to be the episode that airs next Tuesday. And, like, I don't want to be 8 weeks behind anymore. So we're just publishing everything, and then when we're caught up, we're caught up. Also, if you are in chat and you have complained to me at some point about not seeing video in the edited version, and you probably aren't because you guys are here live, but if you are, don't worry. That is stopping, effective like 2 weeks ago now. As soon as this backlogged, like, stretch of episodes is completed, the episodes will go back to being video. So some of them are already done that way, and I can't re-edit them. It's money spent. It's already done. So as soon as we are through the current backlog, which I think you guys have like 5 days left, maybe 6 days left, the scrolling names, you'll never see those again. We'll go back to video. Everything's fine. We did it as a test to see if we could save a couple bucks on editing, and everybody hates it because you want to apparently see our beautiful faces. So there you go. So you'll be getting that back too. Okay, housekeeping done. Jason Rife, man of the hour, many times here on Laser Everything. What is up, sir? How are you?
Not much. What's going on, everybody?
Killing it.
Hanging out, man.
Hanging out. You've been busy, though. You've got all kinds of shit going on, huh?
Yeah, we've been burning the midnight oil, to say the least, I guess.
For sure. I mean, you asked to come on. You were like, bro, you told me to come on when I had stuff to talk about, and I got stuff to talk about. So what's on the docket today? What are we looking at? Because I know you've got a lot of stuff that you want to chat about.
We just kind of want to reiterate the Ascend that's been out now for about 3 months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we have several new ones that were just released 1st of September, which is on the screen there, and I've got them here. We can do some show and tell with them or what have you, and answer any questions.
Yeah.
But we got the Roto boot, which is our budget friendly or kind of hobbyist rotary that allows people, to kind of get the same basic quality and performance of the ROTOBOSS, the Junior, and Ascend, but in a more cost-effective unit, as well as the new Bolt that just got released with the Thunderbolt laser, their new desktop RF.
Nice.
And the Talon chuck that you see there in the bottom right. Those three are the latest kind of releases. The Talon hasn't released yet because we're still working out a few bugs and tweaking that a little bit.
That's the one that's been elusive to me, because I was like looking around for like links and stuff to make sure we could get you all linked up in the description, and the Talon seems to still be kind of like is that like in the middle of development, or is it like coming out soon?
It's in the final stages. I should have our final working prototype up in Illinois in October.
Awesome.
I have a prototype here that didn't quite turn out right, or wasn't happy with it, so we're still working on it, trying to get the four-jaw system to work properly and efficiently. So that's something that's I'm hoping to go into production towards the end of the year, closer to Christmas.
Yeah.
So we might do some pre-orders or something but I won't do that until I know I have a solid product to put out. Just because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver kind of thing. I'd rather make sure that it's pretty much like 90% ready before I even consider doing any kind of sales or anything on it.
Yeah. That's good though. It's exciting to get a chuck rotary entry onto the market for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had it on the back burner for years. I think Matt's probably talked to me about it. A couple other people talked to me about it before. It was just something that was kind of on the back burner. And then obviously with the rise of fibers, galvos in general, we have rotaries for that as well, the rollers, but having a chuck, especially for fiber and stuff, would definitely help out. And plus we want to be able to kind of offer everybody something. We don't want to leave anybody out, and that's why we came out with the boot. And obviously the bolt as yeah. No,
I was thinking, dude,
camp.
For real, I was thinking about the boot, and I was like, man, I could make some videos on this. And I was thinking ROTOBOSS boot versus DOS boot. And we try to engrave the DOS boot on the ROTOBOSS boot.
I don't know if you can see the logo there, but
heck yeah,
it's got the
dog
Roto
tags.
boot with some dog tags.
Yeah, dude.
And then it also has some script on it, which
it literally looks like a Thor's hammer in your hand right now.
That's the kind of dude. Honestly, like I think you sent me the Junior 2.0 is the one that you sent in, and that's a beast of a rotary.
We were just talking about how heavy those things are.
Like the boot looks like something I would actually buy. Like if I was actually gonna buy a rotary, I'd probably buy something like the boot because I'm a wuss, and that looks perfect. That's like Alex sized,
Yeah.
What's funny is
2.0 is like a home defense weapon.
I mean, it's literally bare bones, but without skimping on the material qualities and things like that. It really, I don't have the milled edges and all that stuff. That the lifting mechanisms and stuff. It's all manually operated.
Right. Is it just like a tightening bolt
with thumb screws?
Yeah, thumb screws. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a friction lock.
That's a big motor on there.
They're not foolproof. They're not foolproof. That's the Thunder motor. It's just got a
chonky boy
cover on it to cover the wires.
Gotcha.
But just clips on there and holds it in place. But
yeah.
So
what's funny is like Alex saw that one and literally that was exactly what he said. The first thing he said is like, "That's my type of rotary." He goes, "That ascend is just too damn big." He goes, he's like, "For me though, that little guy, perfect."
Yeah, I like the little one for sure.
Well,
I'm excited.
The good
to play
thing about
the
good thing about the boot is like especially for Eons, like once you pull out the blades, it sits right in that opening, so you don't have to teeter on that center vent tray and stuff. It sits right down inside that little notch. So I mean, I guess as close to ideal as you could get. As far as placement,
is
the magnet feet, of course.
And not to just keep taking hard left turns, but is the Talon like a 1-to-1 on the drive? It's not like belted or anything.
No, it's not belted, but we have a potential solution for because I guess with the other guys that have one. I guess a lot of people are having to flip dip switches and do all that stuff to their axes and stuff.
Yeah.
And the simple solution to that is, I'm not going to say, but is a different type of motor. So that way you don't have to do that. And plus, not to mention the way it's kind of set up, it's smaller than your typical chuck.
Yeah.
The head of it's smaller. So that coupled with potentially using a different type of motor will help prevent having to do that, where you have to change your steps, or not change your steps, but change the dip switches and stuff on the laser. Thought about doing it belted or some kind of gear drive, but trying to keep it as compact as we can. I mean, because the head of it is about bigger round as a 20-ounce tumbler opening.
Yeah.
So it's like 80 millimeters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So it's a lot smaller than your typical. And the reason behind that is I wanted it to be, when you're using it, I wanted the tallest part of anything is going to be what you're engraving on. So you never have to worry about head strikes or nozzle strikes or anything like that on things that are protruding out. We got some little tabs on here that we're probably going to get rid of because there's really no point.
Mm-hmm.
After we got it and started testing with it, there's really no point in having these little wings. It was intended for stability, but realistically, the way these are set up,
mm-hmm.
and I know this is all black and it's hard to see, but the way these are set up with the pads, the rubber pads, and the way they sit on here, there's enough of a lip on the actual jaw itself.
Nice. Yeah.
You can't really see it, but there's enough of a lip on it to catch the edge of the cup, so that is your backstop. So you don't need to have anything else sticking out to hold it or keep it from going on too far or whatever.
Yeah, right. So we have like here, I'll just throw this up just so people can see a little easier. So we're talking about these right here, right?
Yeah, those little winglets. They were something we put in there for stability for like 20 and 30 ounce cups because they're adjustable about an inch or so out,
right,
with those holes and placement and everything. So those are really kind of pointless because the way we set up the jaws on the new version of it, you have enough of the actual jaw sticking out past the rubber foot to catch the edge of the cup.
Nice.
To act as your backstop for the cup.
Yep. And I like we don't no chuck keys here. This is all hand tight and hand loosened. I'm assuming is what we're seeing, like kind of right up in here, right? Yeah,
it's just got the knurled.
Nice.
And there's also another feature on there that we're working on that I'm not going to talk about right now, but that's going to go on that to make actually spinning that a lot easier. So you don't have to hold the teeth or hold one side and turn the other, or kind of fumble with it.
Yeah.
So we have a feature that's going to be added to that that's going to eliminate that issue.
Sorry, Matt, it sounded like you had a question and I cut you off, buddy. What were you going to say?
No, you're good. I was saying it's like you're not having to wrestle with it, because especially when you're dealing with a chuck and you're dealing with like one of your galva machines, it could get precarious, you know. So when you can take away any of that extra stuff, needing an extra tool, needing an extra space, having one extra hand to do it, that makes life way easier.
Yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of like, and you may not be ready to talk about this yet, and that's okay, but I'm seeing a lot of like stuff going on down here and stuff going on over here, and there's no body to this. Can you give us anything on like how this will be mounted or set up to be used?
Well, it's gonna have several different mounting possibilities. One will be for fiber bed, obviously,
just literally right into the breadboard.
Right on. Well, not. It'll have a bracket that those 8 holes attached to mount it to the pegboard. Yeah.
Cool.
It'll mount to. You can use it with the Ascend lifting arm as a standalone rotary. You can also use it to where on the Ascend, the ROTOBOSS, or the Junior, you can put it on the opposite end. So you'll have both systems at the same time. So you can use either one without having to swap anything out or anything like that.
Cool. So I could slap it on my Junior on the other side. Oh man,
yeah, that's so cool. you just take that end plate off.
That's some like mad scientist stuff right there.
You bolt the plate that holds that onto it in its place, and then now you have two separate units to use at any given point.
Oh man,
and then the holes in the back, it's ambidextrous, I guess you could say, because that pattern you see there is on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have it in there with the motor on the left, then you'll see these. You'll utilize this side of the holes. If it's put the motor on the right, you use the holes on the other side, and it's like a protractor. So the bolt swings inside of that groove, and you can tighten it down at any position to hold it in place. And then you can also take it and move from the whole position it's in right there to one of the back two, and you can actually pivot it vertically.
Mm.
And that's the configuration it would be basically for your fibers.
Right.
You move it back, and then you can still pivot
because
just like
you need that
there.
Yeah, you need that angular movement.
Yep. So you can put it at a complete 90 and use a disc rotary system for like business cards or whatever. So I tried to kind of encompass all
Everything.
possibilities.
Yeah, I was gonna say everything. God dang.
To make it as versatile as possible.
Hopefully, I know because, and we'll talk about this a little bit later in the show, but like, so ROTOBOSS is on the new MakerREMIX market now, which is awesome. You've got all of your products up there, at least all of your major rotaries are up there now. Do you think we could get our hands on like a top down of this so that we can start building jigs or like fixture templates that will like lock into it? And then, because then people would love to like build and sell those. That would be a lot. I know Kyle loves doing that kind of stuff.
He's a
the good thing about this is the way it's set up on the jaws there is that hole pattern that's in each one of those jaws.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually physically bolt a plate to that.
Oh, nice.
So you can put it in any
That's cool.
configuration. So if people have existing ones that already have holes or something like that, there's a good chance it might work with this as well. But that among the fact that you can move those pads in closer and then spread it apart to hold the jig. I mean, there's a bunch of things that I have planned for this. A bunch of like kind of add-on stuff, but the biggest thing is just getting that 4-jaw system to work properly.
How Willie Sims is in chat here. He's asking, glass. Please, brother, I need a chuck system good for glass. Have you used this for glass at all yet?
We haven't used it yet because we don't have a fully functioning prototype yet.
Okay, got it.
Like I said, we won't have that till October.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple of samples and stuff that we've been working on, but none of them have been quite right. So we're still kind of working on that.
For sure.
But the benefit of the 4 versus a 3-jaw, like we were talking before, is you can add more pressure, or you can get more gripping strength with less pressure out of 4 than you can a 3.
Right.
So it's good for delicate stuff like glass. So you can put a lot of outward pressure or inward pressure on it.
Cool.
Without damaging it, or less likely to damage it.
Absolutely.
And with this, theoretically, you shouldn't need any kind of support system. So you shouldn't need other wheels to support the weight because you have 4 even pressure points instead of 3 spaced out.
So it's always slotting into one of those 4 angles. So that's always, definitely.
So no matter how much it rotates, you've always got support.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas on a 3-jaw, when you're at the flat, like with let's say the 2 at the bottom and 1 at the top, you have all that slop. You have no support on the bottom of that object. So if you use heavier objects or things like that, then you can run a risk of it shifting
and that last jaw up at the top is supporting all of the weight that the 2 jaws at the bottom are carrying too. So you get that there's kind of like an angular pull that you're getting there too. For sure. I can see that. Yeah, definitely. Then again, I know you may not be ready to answer this, and that's fine. Do you have a ballpark on a price point for something like this? Do you know where you're going to start?
It depends on the configuration.
Yeah.
As you see it right there,
mm-hmm.
we're probably looking with a motor.
No commitment. Just curious, like ballpark again, estimate.
Probably somewhere around 5 plus or minus.
That's
just
what
depends.
I was kind of guessing that in my head. That sounds right. Yeah. Sure.
And then, like I said, you can
of
slap it on.
research and work in that too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that does this stuff or builds stuff like this, it's not a cheap endeavor at all. And it's not a quick one either.
No.
Like this design I've had for years, but I just never acted on it. And like I said, with the growing galvo market and everything, and our goal, or my goal as a company, is to be able to provide everybody with something that they can either use for whatever reason, or maybe they can't afford $1,000-$1,400 unit.
Yeah.
That's why we got the boot, which is it's $499. Some versions are a little bit more just because of the setup and everything, but I think the most expensive version is like $525. So I mean, and that's,
when we're holding that up to the ROTOBOSS 2.0, where are those coming in? Like 1,500?
The ROTOBOSS for any laser besides a Thunder is 13.
Right.
With the Thunder, it's more expensive because the motor is like 3 times as expensive.
Gotcha.
And the special wiring harness and all that stuff. So that's what kind of drives that price up. But compared to the Junior, which is, I guess you could say, the big brother to this one, those are $900. And I think they're $1,150 through Thunder. But so I mean, given somebody, because I mean, you got, so I'm not going to name names or anything, but you guys know the rotaries are on the market. Not that they're bad, but we wanted to be able to give somebody the same abilities as a ROTOBOSS or a Junior at a fraction of the cost.
Right.
So that's why, like I said, we made this bare bones. There's no fancy milling. There's, the wheels aren't cut. There's no lifting or sliding mechanisms. It's as bare bones as we could possibly make it to keep it at the price point that we wanted to hit.
Yeah.
And we don't make a lot of money on these. My whole thing with this is just to be able to offer something of great quality to beginners, hobbyists, people on a budget.
I really see this replacing, like, when people buy a first laser and then they get like the really, really shitty hot dog rollers with it. Talking like the hard plastic. Yeah, I have a few.
The knurled steel hot dog rollers.
Yeah, and they just want to play. They just want to play with rotary, and experiment with their new machine, but they don't want to dish out for, maybe they're not jumping right into business, and it's not a case of like, well, I'm not going to sell $1,300 worth of product. I just wanted to do a couple cups for my family or whatever. This seems like that will be the replacement for the shitty hot dog rollers they would have bought had something this not been on the market.
The other thing is, if you're looking for like a mobile setup, like I know Jason's going to have a mobile setup, the trailer, like if you follow him on social media, he's got a trailer he's been working on. And it's like, this would be a great one because it's not huge. It's not as heavy. It's not the Ascend, which is like, like a monster. But like, for those of you who don't know what he's talking about too, from like the difference, like that picture that Alex has up on the screen right now, I literally have the low roller. Like, I mean, look at that machined edge. Whew, so pretty, shiny. But like, this is the difference. Like, so like he was talking about, you've got the, it's not just a little thumb screw that holds it in place. It's not the machined edges that look all beveled and shiny and gorgeous. But like this thing, by the way, is amazing. I love my low roller, man. It's already paid itself off twice. So from being able to do glass.
Like the biggest thing is
this is the low roller. This is a little tiny.
Is it the low roller or Junior?
Yeah, it's a low roller.
Same. Okay.
So
Yep.
just so you guys, if you can see, like that's metal, dude. Like this is what I was trying to show in the unboxing video of the Ascend. Like it's so pretty. But the other thing is this is probably the lightest one I've ever held. Like I can actually like maneuver it. But what's nice is so if you in a second when we go back to that picture, and when you look at it, that one has basically the thumb screws holding it in place, while this one has like an actual, I call them worm rods, but basically the worm rods here to raise it up and down for your Z. But you've also got, see, I got my camera's all weird, but it's really nice, man. This thing is so sweet. It's got the aluminum billet, everything. Like it's just so nice.
And the low roller's on its way out, right, Jason?
Yeah, we're kind of phasing it out, but we've kind of shifted that to be the Galvo rotary.
Because the Junior 2.0 gets about as low, right?
Not quite.
Not quite. Okay.
It's probably about an inch and a half taller, and then the ROTOBOSS is about an inch taller than the Junior.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a stepping stone. But with the low roller, we're phasing that out because one, we've made the Junior pretty much take both roles. So it's a Junior, and it's kind of taken some of the attributes of the low roller to make it more compact, lower, and more versatile. And then with the boot, obviously it's a different platform.
Right.
It's the same quality. It's all machine built at 6061. It's just it doesn't have all the frills and
the bells and whistles. It's that tall from what you've shown. It doesn't look that high. Nope. Can I fit that? That won't fit in a K40, will it? Too long? Maybe.
Well, I mean, we can make it in different lengths. The length we have it right now is just a little bit shorter than the ROTOBOSS, but this sits 5 inches from tower to base. And it can do, like in the picture that you showed, it can do handled cups.
Yep.
There's several different functions that are built into this, which I might actually steal and put into the Junior and the other ones later on.
Yeah.
But like the clamp arm, it has 2 holes vertically, so you can adjust that up.
Yep.
It's in the bottom hole in this picture, and that's why the spring is so compressed.
Gotcha.
And it's
gotcha.
like that on purpose to offer as much holding force as possible, but also the arm raises, the wheel has another hole above it, so you can reposition that up a little bit. And then that whole clamping bracket slides.
Right.
There's a bolt right up underneath the arm that you can kind of see peeking through there.
Right here.
No, up.
Oh, right there. Right there. Yep. Gotcha.
You loosen that bolt, and that whole clamp mechanism slides forward and backwards.
Awesome. Yeah.
So you can adjust it that way. The wheels themselves on the slave wheels, they have the longer shaft, so you can actually use another set of collars to put on the front side, so you can adjust them in and out. For like water bottles or something you need to clear a specific area of a cup that you can't clear in the stock configuration, you can slide them on the shaft in and out and actually position it that way. And
what's nice too, are you going to include the larger inner wheel on the clip?
Yeah, the clamp's going to have the standard
2.
Everything that would come with the regular rotary will come with this. It'll have the small wheel attached to it from us, and then you'll have the extra large wheel for like water bottles and things like that if you need to reach inside.
And
will it also? Go ahead, Matt.
I'm going to say, for those of you that don't know about it, it's really cool. This is what we were just talking about before with the Ascend. The other day I had like an order of like 20 water bottles, and then I had to do like 4 20-ounce regular cups and like a 30-ounce or something. But I literally just had like 3 back-to-back orders, and I was like, all right, I'm going to knock them all out. And I was able to really quickly, just with one change of that the small wheel on the inside, I was able to put the larger wheel in, and it hung perfectly into the water bottle. Any of you guys who've ever had to do a water bottle, like I think Kyle even helped me 3D print the ring that I made for water bottles a while
That
back.
wasn't me.
It was somebody, and so it was somebody who was in the support channel. Anyways, and we put them in there, and literally it made it to because I'd never done water bottles before, and I had my old ROTOBOSS from like 2019. And then this thing made it like the Ascend, and that little, or the larger wheel, made it go so quick. Never had to change anything, and could just go from one item to the next really quick.
I typically leave the large wheel on.
Yeah, works great
because it offers more clamping force, and it's the most widely, I guess, versatile one. So you can do a lot of different things without having to switch things out. But yeah, so I mean, the Ascend. Yeah, we got some cool stuff coming for that.
Yeah, before I want to talk about the Ascend. I just have one more question. Will this work with the bottle holder with the two wheels? You know what I mean?
Oh,
for like beer bottles and glasses and things like that.
I don't think so, because the wheels, in order to maintain a good clearance, the wheels are too far apart.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Now it just literally would just fall through.
Yeah, but we do have our larger wheels that we use on the ROTOBOSS and the Junior that will fit on this. So you can actually do that. So I mean, there are options to make it work or function more for what you need if that need arises.
And my other one, and I do want to move on to the Ascend just because we're at like 30 minutes now, but
holy crap.
How hard would it be for the end user once they purchased it? How hard would it be for them to swap out the main rail for like a different length? Like on the boot, yeah. Like,
well, this comes capable to do pretty much your up to. Let me see here. Where my ruler go? So from tip to tail, you are 11.5 inches long with this configuration. Now you can go with what's on the Junior and the ROTOBOSS, and that'll give you substantially more. I think it'll give you about 13 or 14.
I was thinking even like less. Like if I wanted to bring it down.
Oh yeah, you can chop it down to nothing. You can just literally with a chop saw, you can chop this end off, tap 2 holes on the end, reinstall your end cap, and then you're done. But and to answer your question, the way these are set up, it's really simple to adjust because there is no adjustment on the arm. It's in a fixed position. With it sitting flat in the horizontal position. I know I'm going vertical here, but in this direction, there's no adjustment. There's no adjustments this way. It's just once you put it on, it's in its position. That's it. So the only thing you have to do is there's 2 bolts under here that go into this arm, and you just take those bolts out, put your new arm on, put the bolts in, and then you just slide the wheels together, and then on the heel plate there's a hole right here, and then basically you line up the clamp bolt with that hole, and then just adjust it, and then tighten everything down. You're done.
That doesn't seem bad at all. Yeah.
So it's really easy to make the adjustments. We try. I mean, like always, we try to make it as user friendly as possible. This is probably the most user friendly as far as if someone has to do anything, because there are no adjustments on it, like the ROTOBOSS or the Junior and things like that. And also, if you need to get more throw on this, you can take the wheels that hold the plate. You can put them on the opposite side. Take this whole arm and put it on the back side of the tower, and you'll gain another inch or so of distance.
Could make the difference. Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of different. It's flexible. We'll put it that way. You might have to get creative sometimes to come up with solutions, but
the flexibility is there for you to be creative about it.
Exactly, and that's like all our rotaries. I've tried to design that into all the rotaries, so it's not just you take it out of the box and that's all you got. You have options, you have solutions, you have ways to make it fit what you're doing, especially with as much as the cup market or the drinkware market is changing with shapes and sizes and
that
all that
40-ounce
stuff.
monster.
Yeah.
God.
So I mean, trying to keep all that in mind and have a little forethought into what is gonna come, and trying to make it as versatile as possible. That's why we came out with like the 2.0 on the ROTOBOSS and the Junior, because we need to make sure that we're kind of growing with the need of the market.
Yeah.
So it's and the Ascend is the same way. The Ascend was more of a forethought to, much like a lot of people are going with galvos nowadays.
Yep.
A lot of companies are going to start going with shorter heads, faster speeds, and having a tower is not something you want in the way.
Definitely.
So this here, the Ascend, was our answer to kind of forward thinking on what's to come. And that's why this come out. And then we also have a couple nice things to come on that in 2024, that we'll be bringing to the market.
So there will be additions to this unit that can be made.
Yes, besides the attachment of the chuck, there will be additions to this, as options. And again, like, I know a lot of people get confused with how many rotaries we have, but it's kind of like if you go through some of the lower end rotaries, and then you go into the next level and the next level and the next level. Well, I've tried to basically have all those levels,
right,
for everybody. I wanted to offer something to everybody, so we've tried to cover all the bases, as far as the needs in the market, and obviously with the cheaper ones, you're going to have some limitations. It's not intentional. We've tried to make it as versatile as possible, but inherently, just because of what it is and the price point it's at, there are some areas we had to give on.
One of the things that I like about the ROTOBOSS lineup is that you can't, if you just need a rotary to do general rotary stuff, you could close your eyes and throw a dart at your product list and it's going to do a good job.
Yeah.
But you also have specific options for people that have specific needs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been the goal all along, or at least for the past couple of years, is to try to do that. I mean, I know it's in some cases it's bad for business to have too many options.
Right.
But with as wide and as vast as the laser market is, it's kind of hard to just stick with one object or one product, because there's so many other people that need stuff, and need the quality stuff.
They're not on their own. I mean, you take calls. I know, because Matt's told me firsthand, because he's been standing in the shop over your shoulder while you've been doing it. That like you take calls all the time, like helping people pick the one that they need and getting it set up specifically for their machine, so that the attachments are right and the connections are correct.
That's why I raised my hand a second ago.
Yeah,
like I think it was like a 15-minute video that we had from, like, what was that, like the beginning of summer or something, that we did something, or what was that? I don't even remember.
I remember. Yeah, it's linked in the description. If you want to
I was going to say,
it. It's called A Glimpse into ROTOBOSS. There's a link in the description if you want to watch it.
And what's really cool is straight up, like, when you call the place, it was funny because he had the guy on speaker, and he was just like, yeah, well, I was hoping I could talk to the Jason guy. And he's like, yep, that's me. And the guy was like, like, he picks up the phone.
Yeah, like the phone number on, for you put the phone number on the ROTOBOSS, right?
On everything.
Yeah. Phone number goes to you.
Yeah, that's my personal phone number.
People are calling you. I mean, that's unparalleled. For sure.
I mean, my thing is, you know the old adage, if you want it done right, you do it yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of my mentality with that. But it's hard to convey. I take a lot of pride in what I make,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe as long as I own this company, I'm going to be the voice of the company because nobody knows this stuff better than I do. I'm not going to hire somebody that uses rotaries and then, have communications back and forth and then them say, oh, well, I don't know. I'll get back to you. That's one of the things that I absolutely hate about customer service is the whole, well, I'm not sure. Let me look into that and we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone calls me, I can answer everything. Well, 95% of everything.
Yeah.
There might be there might be some things that kind of stump me up because we've had issues with wiring and stuff because a lot of the lasers because keep in mind all of my rotaries work with NEMA 23 and NEMA 17s
Mm-hmm.
direct bolt on, which no other rotary does that. So you can literally, I've had people buy these for the Yangtze lasers, the open frame X tools, things like that. So I mean, it'll work in anything that runs off a Lightburn. If it runs off a Lightburn, ArtWorks or EasyCAD, I have a rotor that'll work, and I can configure it to work.
Yeah.
We've run into issues with wiring because, like, especially OM Tech, they have like 3 or 4 different controllers for all their different machines, and sometimes they change things up. Like I just dealt with a guy that got one for a Riken, but it was wired for the Rixon or whatever it is. So we had to figure out what they did, and so I mean it's pretty painless. You can't go wrong with the motors. Like a lot of people are worried. You can't cross wires and damage anything because they're bipolar. They don't care where they get their power from.
Yep.
They're going to work either way. They're either going to make noise or they're going to turn.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty easy process. I know it's painful for people sometimes, and we do have occasional issues like that. Like with Rabbit Laser, they have several different control systems in their different lasers. So we've had to deal with.
It's intimidating because you're like, wiring has that gives people shivers,
Yeah,
but
and
it's not that bad.
Does.
It's not.
I've told the story before, but like the very first one that I bought like ages ago had a wiring issue, and when I called, like straight up, Jason picked up the phone and he was like, "Yeah, let me walk you through it." And he got on FaceTime with me, and like that was that. He basically sat there. I think it took about 36 minutes, and he just had it there. He's like, "All right, we'll do this next step, and let me know when you're done." And he just sat there. He was working while it was happening. But then I'd get to that step, hold the phone up, and he'd be like, "All right, yep, make sure you tighten this, that, and the other." And then that was it. And I'm not a mechanical guy with little machines like this. So I was intimidated as shit. And that was when I owned up. That was my LS 1420, like that little tiny Boss way back in the day.
Yeah.
So now my biggest fear is the Ascend. And not because I'm worried about the rotary. It's if something happens, especially with the lifting mechanism specifically, because the lifting mechanism on that thing is ridiculously complex. So with a ROTOBOSS or something, it's pretty easy. Yeah, turn this, tweak this, tighten this, whatever.
Yeah.
That on the other hand, and that's like when my guys build those, I have one guy that builds those rotaries, and for now the main reason obviously is for continuity and consistency,
right?
Because it is so complex and it takes quite a while. We've dedicated one guy to just building Ascends, when we need him. Obviously he doesn't do it all the time, but
yeah, I'm sure that makes it not very exciting when you have to consider like, oh, am I going to have to give support for this lifting mechanism over the phone? And you're trying to like explain that.
Well, the good part is with that, they can literally slide the lifting mechanism off rail and send it to me and I can fix it. If something like that happens.
Yep.
So it is there is a easy solution, which is to mail it, obviously, or I can just send them a new one I get theirs back, I recondition it, repair it, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
However it has to work.
Jason
but yeah, that's
will
my
sit on the
biggest
phone
fear
with
with
you
that.
for 2.5 hours to make sure that.
Yeah, I see you have
that's the truth, man.
This is a huge list of lasers too. The one thing that I don't see in this list that I'm curious if you've played with at all are Trosen controllers. Have you played with Trosen controllers? They work.
Gulf Coast asked about that.
Yeah. I was curious because the Ranger has a Trosen.
Well, like Boss has Trosen as well. Especially in their HP series.
Oh yeah.
They use a Trosen for their controller, the controlling system on that. Yeah. And it works with it, but with the HP they have two controllers though. They have the Ruida and they have a Trosen. The Trosen operates the control systems for the HP, the cutting part, and then Ruida controls the regular stuff. So that is pretty simple. Yeah. But I mean, realistically, Trosen and Ruida are the same thing. Like if you looked at them side by side and they had no writing on them,
yeah,
you'd be looking at pretty much the same thing, and they work pretty much the same way as well.
I'm really excited to play with the Junior in the Ranger specifically because the Trosen controllers have that like defined U-axis for rotary, so you don't have to like switch things back and forth. It just like you just plug it in and go. I'm stoked for that, so that should be a lot of fun. And you're on the MakerREMIX marketplace. How's that been so far? Has it been like easy enough to get your product set up and like how's that been?
It was interesting getting things set up. Thank you, by the way, for doing this. I mean,
you're allowed. We're still in the testing phase, so you're allowed to say it sucks. You can say that.
No.
I mean, fine.
there are some things that suck. I'm not going to point them out because it might just be me. But as a whole, I mean, regardless, we've needed this.
Yeah.
Like there's never been a central place. I know, like Laser Focus, the magazine. We needed something like that.
Yeah.
We definitely need some place to where you can go to one place and you can find basically all makes, models, types. You can get people that just throw together 3D printed jigs and things like that. We've needed something like that, and like I said, for me at least, not just for the business aspect of it, because the only reason why I'm really doing it is one, for the community, and two, to help support your channel and everything that you do, because obviously you guys get something from it as well. So as soon as I found out about this, I jumped right on board because
cheaper than affiliate marketing, right?
Well, yeah, and I don't believe in affiliate marketing anyways, because you get too many people in a cookie jar.
Yeah, with the bloodlust.
Well, and then people who might not have actually used what they're saying they did and don't have the experience and this and that and the other. All kinds of fun stuff.
Your page looks great, dude. This is stellar.
I was literally just sitting there looking at the banner, dude, and like that's a dope banner.
Do you like that? I made that because we changed the banner dimensions after Jason uploaded his banner, so it was like all stretched, and I was like, I can't show that on the show. So I literally, like 2 seconds before I jumped in here, I threw this one together with the Talon and the Ascend on it, and I just tossed it up because it was the right proportion, so it wouldn't look.
By the way, that actually. So what's cool? The fact you put veteran owned right there is Beam It Up Laserworks. Anthony had just asked, "Is ROTOBOSS veteran owned and operated?" And yeah,
that'd be you, sir. That would be Jason.
That would be me.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I'm stoked to have the ROTOBOSS brand on here, and it looks like you have the full lineup too, which is really great.
I've got more stuff on the site, but this is our most popular stuff, and we've got other stuff too, but just little things here and there.
And this includes the boot. Will these ship now?
Yeah, they're ready to ship.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude. That's
we did it. We did it kind of like a soft launch. I haven't really pushed it.
You definitely did it quietly because I didn't notice this was even in development.
I showed him the picture.
Yeah, until it was out, and then I was like, oh my god, this is a new.
Well, we had it was called the Roto X, because I didn't have a name for it at the time.
Yeah,
and it was gray. You might have seen it. It was gray in color. It looked the same, but it was just gray in color.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have a name or a color scheme for it. but this is the final version of it, and
Cool.
it is ready to ship.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. It looks really, really good. Oh yeah, there's the gray one.
Yeah, there's a
Look
gray
at
one
that.
there.
Yep.
That was
That's
the early
before it turned
prototype.
into Superman.
Yeah, I'm stoked
Yeah.
on this. That's cool. Well, guys, of course, as usual, if you're listening to this either live or after the fact, there are links to everything that we've talked about tonight down in the description. So if you need a new ROTOBOSS and you haven't wanted to spend $1,300, here's your boot. So go get to it. Is there anything that we didn't talk about as far as the new products or the old product line go that you want to make sure we cover before we close? Because we're at 10 minutes, and I do want to give Boyce and Kyle a chance to ask some questions too, because me and Matt won't shut the hell up.
No, that's no problem. We got the bolt.
Oh yeah, the bolt, of course. Yep, that's sold exclusively through the Thunder website, right?
Yeah, this is Thunder's rotary.
Right.
I'm basically the manufacturer for it. Took inputs from them and created this. Kind of piggybacked off of the boot.
You can see
with the general design, but the profile on this thing, I mean, the wheels are as big as the clamp wheel. So they're only 24 millimeters in diameter.
Right.
They sit next to on the ground.
That's low.
And for the bolt particularly, it's got a space constraint with just the bed. I mean, obviously, if you do like Robert's got a jig to set it down in the machine and stuff, but as it's made, it'll do anything that's basically non-handled.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's within 70 to 101 millimeters, if it's any smaller than that, it'll potentially fall through the wheels. If it's any bigger than that, then the head will hit it.
Right.
So this was made intentionally to fit 30-ounce tumblers down to the mugs and the 20 ounces and things like that. It wasn't made to do all the cool stuff.
It is a very very specific job.
It's very specific for the space constraints that we had.
Right.
And there are ways to get around the handled thing because it will do them. You just got to put a plate down, or if you get something like what Robert's making, something down with a hole in it underneath the wheel area so that the handle can pass underneath.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, it's pretty much just as capable as the rest of them to many degrees. But obviously it was built with a specific purpose. Same adjustability on the clamp arm here, the wheel, the bracket slides in and out. Same basic functions as the boot.
Gotcha.
Same material, all that stuff.
That's cool. Oh yeah, it's same thing.
Yep. Sick.
All right, questions.
Boyce, Kyle, you got any input? You want to say anything?
You already covered the one that I had about doing jigs on that.
Yeah, I know you were. I knew you were going to ask. The second that he mentioned it, I was like, Kyle's now frothing at the mouth to build.
Boyce, you got anything? And then I'll pull up questions off the crowd.
Yeah, definitely. So someone's to order to send. How long does it take to come in? Like, you guys don't set it ready to ship? They're just sitting there waiting to go, or they got to be assembled?
We got a huge shelf just full of stuff. A lot of stuff, especially for Thunder, because we do a lot of business with Thunder stuff. So we have a lot of that stuff boxed up with motors, everything ready to go. So as soon as we get an order, it ships out the same day or the next day. With these, it's usually 1 to 2 days, because depending on your laser, we have to outfit it with the proper motor and do final checks on it and everything, and then send it out. But as far as turnaround, nothing we have right now takes more than probably 2 business days to get shipped out.
Awesome.
From the date you order it, or the date we get the order.
Also, you get a bag of gummy bears.
Are you heading over to the market, Boyce, to pick up and
I'll
send?
be the first person to buy and send from you guys through the marketplace. 100% guarantee that.
I'm ready.
I'm gonna say I'll have them up at LBX. I'll have a whole trailer full of goodies up there.
Yeah, I bet.
Because we'll be having a booth up there.
Hopefully you can spend some time with us there too. We haven't worked out scheduling yet because we are irresponsible, but we're doing a 3-day live broadcast. I've got 3 full days of just live never-ending live that we need to fill. So we're gonna actually build a mini studio there with like cameras and lights and like the whole nine, and you'll be able to sit like at the table with us and we can chat and show off some stuff like in person and actually like handle it. So I'm really excited about that. So we need to make sure we make some time to get you guys in there too, so that we can say hey to you.
Yeah, we got a lot of good questions in the comments thread.
Yeah, let's hear them.
So if you don't come to us, we'll come to you.
Cuban Crack says, are the rotaries for CO2? They work for anything you ask them to put the connector on it for, basically, and configure it for.
Pretty much.
Right?
Yep. We can do anything from your basic open frame X tools or I don't know all the different Chinese names for all these machines. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but it'll run anything with a NEMA 17 motor, which is most of your open frames, your
Like diode lasers and stuff?
diode lasers, all that stuff. It's just a direct bolt on. Our part of our patent is that you can use dual motors or different motors on the same mount. So no matter what rotary it is, it has that capability. So you can get.
What if I have like
ROTOBOSS
12 lasers and I want to use it on all of them? Can I get adapters? Do I need a separate rotary for every machine? What's the deal with that?
I mean, I'd like to take your money every time, but no, we can make adapters like if you have an Eon, we can make an adapter to a 4-pin instead of the 5 or 6-pin. If you have usually with the galvos, it's easier to go into the laser and change the wiring in the laser, because chances are it's the rotary you're going to use for it, so you don't need to change it.
Right.
So if you have it on something that's already a 4-pin and you put it on a galvo that's a 4-pin and it doesn't rotate the right direction, it's easier just to go in and change the wires on the control on the driver.
The only thing you can't do is swap phases, right? So like if I have a 3-phase driver in my machine,
yeah.
No,
okay,
you
can't.
Got it.
Yeah, that is the only. It's not a limitation, but that's one of the most important parts about finding, especially for lasers that we're not 100% familiar with.
Right.
Because there's probably hundreds of lasers out there, and they all wire them differently, use different controllers, different stepper drivers, and all that stuff. So, part of it is
you can defeat all of that with
important.
Adapters and customization, except the phases, which really has to match. You have to have that right.
If it's a 3-phase, you have to use a 3-phase. If it's a 2-phase, you have to use a 2-phase.
And that comes all the way down to the motor, right? Like the motor is either 2-phase or 3-phase, and that's that.
Well, yeah, the motor's matched to the controller.
Right.
So the first thing I ask somebody if they ask me the question is, find your y-axis and tell me what it says. And just by telling me what it says, I know what phase or what motor it needs, and then that's the motor that goes on it. Now, if the wiring is different than standard, because there are several companies out there that do, like even if you buy Eon from China, it's wired completely different than the U.S. when they get it in the U.S. and they send it out. It's completely different. So when someone orders, especially with like Eon, things that I know about, I have questions like, did you get it from China or did you get it from US? Because that's going to determine how we wire the motor.
You probably have just like a crazy flow chart of like.
We got a binder.
Yeah,
we got a binder with all the different types of wiring, and my guys hate me for it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail us, Kyle. Please continue with this. I want to get some more, and we're gonna run a little late, and that's okay. But I do want to get through some more questions in chat.
We're going to burn through these quick. So Cuban also asked, would they work with a laser star? So I'm assuming the answer is yes. If it's wired up for a rotary, it's just determining the pin and the phase, right?
Yes and no. If it runs off of Lightburn, Artie Works, or EasyCAD, we have a solution. We may need to do some talking to figure out what the wiring is and stuff, especially on that, because I haven't even honestly heard of that one before.
Yeah, I don't even know what that.
So
runs.
there's some communication that has to happen.
I think it's.
But you can also
it's partially customized software.
Is that like a CCAD?
You can also run it off. You can also run it off a GRBL too. So it'll work with GRBL. It would be a NEMA 17 because that's what they run off of. But you, and in that case, it comes down to amperage because GRBL is a fixed amperage. You can't change it. So finding out what the amperage is of that driver for the GRBL, I need to know, because if I put a 4 amp motor in a 2 amp system, you're going to burn something up. Or if you put a 4 amp and a 2 amp, you're going to burn something up. So it's you gotta there are some nuances, but we've pretty much figured it out at this point.
Lightburn and EasyCAD work on his machine, so you're good to go, man.
Yep.
Keep them coming.
That's the biggest. That's the biggest thing.
So earlier, Gulf Coast asked about it working with tracing controllers. Yep, absolutely. And also, I have an OMTAC 12x20 that I need to switch out. Yep, the same one. Somebody started that twice.
I'd honestly, if you have an OMTAC, I'd go with a Ruida. I wouldn't put a troce in it because it's more than what you need. It's overly complicated for just a basic CO2 laser.
Yeah.
Well, also, if you have no,
it's a motion control.
It's already wired for Ruida essentially. You'd be swapping.
Well, yeah, they have Ruida, they have Riken, and they have Rexon. So they have 3 different types, which are all Ruida controllers.
Yeah.
They're all made by Ruida. It's just different. Whatever. I don't know why they do that, but
yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
No, that was it right there. That was the one I was going to tell you.
So Gulf Coast is asking Jason, whenever you have a working prototype for the new item, can we be notified to get one and start building jigs for it? Do you have like a notification sign up or anything like that?
No, not really. I asked that if anybody's interested in stuff like that, it's just to keep an eye out on the forums. Because I post on all my pages. I post on as many other pages that I'm allowed to. So if anything like that comes up, there will be an announcement. And then of course, if people want to do stuff like that, then they can reach out to me and we can kind of go down that
I'd
road.
really like to. I'm just thinking now that got the gears turning. It'd be really cool to have a feature where, like Jason is ready to start, taking pre-orders for the Talon. He can throw a listing up on the market, and people can just he can choose whether he wants to take actual monetary pre-orders or like a sign-up sheet to get more information, and then he gets a list of users that
that'd be cool.
Asked for more information as it was available. That way when a pre-order does go live or regular sales go live, they get notified. I feel like that would be very easy for the devs to set up, and that would add a nice level to those kind of sales for these kind of products. I think that would be cool. Just mental note to myself for later.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And we got any more, Kyle?
That was the majority of them.
Cool.
From what I picked out, there was some duplicates there. I'm just picking through, but
okay.
Yeah. If anybody go, like I said, I'll be at LBX for the whole show. So I mean, if anybody has any questions, we'll have a booth on Sunday with all our stuff and things like that. But throughout the rest of the event, don't hesitate to come up and talk to me.
Yeah,
if you got a question or something.
Oh, Vince had a good
I'm here
question.
to.
Oh, where is it?
Is shipping fixed? The flat rate shipping?
No, we'll make an announcement as soon as it is. Right now, it is not fixed, and we're having other issues with Stripe checkout at the moment. PayPal works fine, but every time we fix something, it breaks 2 more things. This is why we're having a testing month before the grand opening, which is still slated for October 1st. But we are still working through that issue, and you know where to follow us, Vince. All the normal places you get your marketplace news from. I will update you guys as soon as possible on that. I thought that they were going to be done today because I got a notification. It said Parker S., who's our main dev, he's the lead dev, updated ticket shipping overrides, which is the name of the ticket that we're waiting to fix the
Alex
shipping
was
issues.
so excited.
I was stoked, and I threw everything that I was holding in the air and like sprinted to my computer, and I sat down, and it literally said, Parker changed ticket status completion to 10%. And I was like, oh, it was heartbreaking. So it's not done yet. I think the remaining 90% will go much faster. I do not expect it to be 5 days per 10% on that. The fact that he's updating it all is good. So yeah, it's on the way. It's coming. We fixed another issue today with like addresses, and I saw earlier Richie shouted out about an issue where like it was autofilling addresses with like weird random addresses. I spent like all day fixing that. So we're ironing them out. They're coming along for sure. Nothing so horribly critical that we've had to close, which is great. So
well, and he was giving you props
on that.
What he was saying in that was he was giving you props for saying like as soon as you saw the issue, you called personally and handled it. So
yeah, I would. We would always do that for anything like that for sure.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. And thank you again, Jason, for being on the market. Your presence certainly helping us out. So we really appreciate you carrying your products there.
Glad to help and support you.
And we will see you at LBX, sir. I will be abducting you for some booth time at one point or another. So we'll bring you into the studio. So that'll be the next time you guys see Jason. We'll make sure we get the schedule uploaded for that soon. Does anybody else have any final thoughts before we close out for today?
Don't forget that on Saturday, we have the photo event. So if you're an LMA member, show up and show out because we're going to be working on
you want to learn how to use cameras, you want to learn how to take cool videos of your products and edit photos and edit videos and
all
take those
stuff.
Things, backdrops, lighting. We're going to be talking about it all. It's going to be a good time. So if you do want to do that, you can sign up over at masters.lasereverything.net. If you're an LMA member, it is free. So we're super excited for that this weekend. I think that's all we've got. So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Laser Source Podcast. Jason, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate having you on. And everything looks good, dude. I'm going to probably end up buying a boot when Boyce buys his Ascend. And Kyle, Boyce, Matt, appreciate you guys. Thanks for your time. Go look at all the links in the description. There's a ton of stuff down there. I can't even keep track of all the shit that we're doing anymore. We do so much shit.
And for me, the biggest thing, like if you have a question, don't hesitate to shoot me an email or contact me.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to talk to you, help you out, figure something out, or if you just want to talk about laser stuff. I've been doing this for about 10 years, so I've got a pretty good repertoire of stuff for laser stuff as well. So
hell yeah,
always happy to help out in any way I can, whether it be rotary or just laser stuff in general. So
the man, the myth, the legend, everybody, Jason Rife. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one.